what is a unified margin account? How do I initiate it? And what are the pros and cons of using such things? This is going to be the topic of today. And of course, ByBit, my preferred exchange, just implemented this feature. And it's a feature that, you're really going to find on pretty much any professional exchange. So this sort of information will be typically, easily transferable to other professional venues for trading. So hopefully this will answer some questions. And if you have any other questions, just ask them in the comment section below and we'll get to them as we can. All right, sweet. So let's just jump right into it right here, starting off with what is a unified margin account taken directly from ByBit's website. Then I'll put it into hopefully more friendly English terms, and then we can move through this one rather efficiently. So a unified margin account is a cross-collateral account that allows users to trade USDT perpetual, USDC perpetual, and USDC options simultaneously using all supported assets in a single account without transferring assets back and forth across multiple accounts as collateral. All right, so what does that look like in practice? Well, what that looks like in practice is that if you are holding the collateral, one of the accepted collateral, which right now is Tether, USDC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, as you can see right here, then you can trade. Let's say you have you're holding some Tether in your account, then you can go and trade the USDC options using that Tether as collateral, even though you are not holding USDC. So I'll say that again with another example. Let's say you were trading, let's say that you had USDC. Let's say that, I forget what the actual acronym stands for, Circle's stablecoin. Anyways, let's say that you only had that in your account. You could then use that as collateral to go and trade USDT perpetuals, even though you don't technically have Tether in your account. So it makes things a lot more efficient and makes things a lot more easy, even though the kind of initial learning curve might be a little bit strange if you're coming from this sort of more cryptocurrency focused land where they have like different, very bizarre, in my opinion, requirements for doing these sort of things. This is typically going to be more appropriate for more professional traders. So the next thing that I want to get to is an example, another example actually, where you can benefit from unified margin accounts. So let's say that you had an open position on USDT perpetuals and you were making $100 from that position. So you are gaining 100. And then simultaneously you had a USDC options position that was losing $100. In this particular style, your Tether gains from the perpetual contracts will offset the losses from the USDC options. Therefore, your liquidation price and your equity would remain, constant in this case, because plus 100 minus 100, it equates to zero. You're basically back where you started from. It makes hedging a lot easier. Is what the true purpose is here. Anyways, moving on now, we should talk about the benefits of of unified margin account, and also some considerations. For some people, there's going to be some cons that we'll talk about as well that you should certainly be aware of if you're going to be potentially trading in this fashion. So benefits, obviously you have cross collateral margin, meaning that you can use Tether, USDC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum as collateral. It looks like they'll be adding more assets soon enough as well, which is great. So cool. And then also enhance capital efficiency. Of course, the profit and loss, this is actually what I just explained. The profit and loss of all Tether, perpetual, and USDC perpetual contracts positions under the unified margin account will be amalgamated. In other words, the profits of a winning position can be used to offset the losses of another. Yes, this is incredibly useful in my opinion. Anyways, and then also their high performing API, which I think ByBit, if you're trading cryptos, their API is it is the best one, and it's also open as well. Anyways, okay, all right, and it actually works even better with this as well, according to them, which is good. Anyways, okay, so let's move on now, and let's get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty and talk about some cons or considerations. Maybe is a better way of putting this, because for I think most people, this would be a no-brainer or a benefit, and it is this. One, assets required as collateral. Here you go. We've already gone over this. Types of trading products, you are obviously limited to these. Position mode, one-way mode. So what does that mean? That means that any open position that you have, let's say you're long one Bitcoin and then you short one Bitcoin, you will have no position anymore. The new position that you're opening offsets the old one. That is opposed to two-way position mode, which honestly I've never used myself, and I don't know anyone who does use it. But in two-way position mode, the way that it would work is if you open one long position, you would be long one Bitcoin, and then if you would then open another position, short one Bitcoin, you would have a separate position, both of them operating independently. So you'd have two open positions. Whereas one-way mode, if you opened one long and then one short, you have zero. You have nothing. It essentially gets rid of it. It's like a hedging mode. Anyways, then the next major consideration that I know will come up is going to be the margin mode. So the margin mode that is available for unified margin accounts is cross margin only. So what is cross margin? Cross margin uses all of the available collateral in your account, all of the available equity in your account as potential collateral to put on positions. So that means that you will no longer have the little isolated margin, isolated leverage bar. In my experience, the isolated leverage bar is something that I've never seen in any other professional venue except for like crypto exchanges. Personally speaking, I think, again, this is just like a much better way of looking at things, but it does mean one major thing. You need to learn how to, one, have risk management. You need to learn how to have risk management, basically, is what it means. Don't be using a liquidation point as risk management. That is silliness. So again, this is for more experienced people who are using this in a dynamic hedging way and know how to actually manage their risk, not just kind of arbitrarily choose it through a leverage slider, which in my experience is just it will never be optimal. So cross margin, kind of requires you to do that. Otherwise, if you do get liquidated on cross margin, you will lose everything. So do understand that. If that is unreasonable to you, if you are not comfortable with that, don't do it. Because if you get liquidated on cross margin, you lose everything in the account. Everything. Why is that? Because cross margin, again, is using all of your available equity to put on margin positions in this unified account. Again, this is pretty much par for the course in all professional venues. When I was a professional trader, this is like, I didn't even know that there was isolated margin. And there's obviously only one-way mode as well. So fair enough. So yeah. All right, there you go. That is obviously the big things. So some considerations which may or may not be for you, but if you're a more active trader, this is going to be usually the way that most people want to be trading. Anyways, lastly here, we'll go into how to actually do it. It's pretty simple on ByBit. We'll be using this one for the demonstration. There's just a complete testnet account. I'm broke. There's no money in here. I'm poor. This is terrible. This is awful. No, there's worse things in life, man. Just meditate. Anyways, So anyways, if you do want to upgrade to unified margin on ByBit, all you have to do here is go to your assets tab. And that will prompt you at the top with the upgrade to unified trading thingy right here, which will prompt you then with a questionnaire. So let me actually make sure that you can see the full thing here. There we go. Okay, beautiful. And let's just pop back into it. You can go to upgrade now. All right, very nice. And it'll bring you through this. Pretty damn simple. They actually support over 60 assets as collateral. That escalated quickly, I guess. So that's quite nice. Anyways, they're going to make you take this little quiz here. And, will using collateral assets to buy non-collateral assets increase the risk rate of the unified trading account? Actually, yes, it will. Obviously. But fair enough. You're using some of your collateral. And that's why it's going to be going down. Anyways, under the unified trading account, will liquidation of spot assets be triggered when maintenance margin reaches 80%? And will liquidation of derivative positions be triggered when maintenance margin reaches 100%? Yes, of course it will. When maintenance margin reaches 100%, like that's the margin you need to maintain your open positions, it's going to start to auto liquidate you until you are, back within acceptable levels. Okay, all right, and then of course for spot it's actually just 80%. So do be aware of that. You're going to get like a little marker at the top left of your screen typically, or at least that's how that's how I'm used to seeing it in the past. Anyways, are cross margin in one-way mode supported for derivative tradings under the Unified Trading Account? Yes, we've went over this obviously. And does Unified Trading Account start charging interest when the borrowed assets exceeds the interest-free rate range, and activate auto repayment when account risk reaches a certain level? Yes, of course it does. All right. So there you go. I'm not going to submit this one because this is a bullshit account. Like it's not real, anyways. But yeah. So once you do that, it'll process. It'll probably take some time to upgrade, I would imagine, and then well, if you decide to use it, you can use it. So I think that does it for today. Again, this is something that is not going to be for everyone. Do be aware of the pros and the cons. In my experience, if you're a more active trader and you're doing a lot more dynamic sort of hedging styles, especially if trading options, I don't really see any reason not to be using something like this. Again, if you're trading on a professional venue or most professional venues, you're just limited to this. Like there's no other option anyways, but ByBit does give you multiple options, I suppose, to be a little more user-friendly perhaps. But other than that, I'll let you make the decision for yourself if it's relevant. Of course, there is a referral link to ByBit in the link in the description below. Do be aware, it is a referral link, of course. You don't need to use it if you don't want to, but it does award you some very special privileges like deposit bonuses. But the big one, in my opinion, is the 0% on maker fees for derivative contract orders. I believe that's only available with my link in the description below. So at the end of the day, that's again another consideration for you to be making if that's relevant to you or not, if that's something that you can even use. Read the fine print, of course. And obviously, for the 0% on maker fees, it's only for 30 days. Not only, that's still pretty damn good, but you get my point. Anyways, that's a good place for me to be leaving off. I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.